Welcome to Tzu Chi This Week. I'm Mary Lee. It's good to have you with us. Coming up in this week's top stories, in the Philippines, Tacloban residents prepare for a weekend filled with blessings. The number of certified Tzu Chi volunteers in Honduras expand with the help of one seed. In China, Hainan Tzu Chi volunteers hold winter aid distributions for low-income families in Haikou City. We start the show in the Philippines. Today, January 18th, and tomorrow, January 19th, Tzu Chi volunteers in Tacloban plan on holding year-end blessing ceremonies at the Laita Sports Center. Volunteers anticipate around 20,000 residents per session, and in order for the event to run smoothly, earlier in the week, volunteers held a rehearsal. Despite the rain, over 1,000 local volunteers showed up at the stadium, all wanting to do their part to repay the love Tzu Chi Foundation has given it. On one end, the rehearsal preparations are being set up, while on the other end, volunteers for the year-end blessing ceremony have arrived. Patiently, the volunteers wait in the rain. Today, at Tacloban's largest outdoor stadium, over 1,400 people are preparing for the upcoming year-end blessing ceremony.
Yeah, I can because I really like this foundation.
We feel very comfortable if the Tzu is here. So that's why we join it. We join any kind of activities of the Tzu Chi.
Out of the 140 groups who came to the training seminar, over 120 groups showed up today. That's over a 90% attendance rate. Thank you and give yourselves a hand.
Before the start of the rehearsals, a moment of prayer is held to calm hearts, as the tasks for today are very important. Anticipating about 20,000 people per ceremony, the entrance and exiting procedures need to be planned just right. These are the tasks the local volunteers are helping with.
I will show them first. It's lucky I had my red envelope with me. On that day, they will lead a group of about 20 guests.
During the ceremony, each participant will come forward to receive their blessings. The local volunteers not only watch the sequence, but also run through it to familiarize themselves with the process.
I think it's more on blessing from Tzu Chi Foundation. It's thank you very much for the support.
I am here to volunteer for the year-end blessing ceremony because I hope for Tacloban and the Philippines to be at peace.
Of course, after this ceremony is complete, departure from the stadium needs to be planned as well.
We are most worried about crowding at the entrances. People can't leave or come in, and everyone ends up stuck. Or when they do come in, they won't know where to go. It's this type of disorder that we are concerned about, so we wish to direct the flow of people from the start.
Knowing the importance of the task at hand, these local volunteers listen carefully so that on the day of the event, a dignified year-end ceremony can be held, where hearts are united and compassion is assembled. Now let's go for a behind-the-scenes look at the rehearsal at Laita Sports Center and see how volunteers overcame obstacles to ensure the event will be successful.
Prior to the rehearsal for the year-end blessing ceremony here in Tacloban, participants make way for the helicopter as it heads back to the airport.
According to the weather, unfortunately, the low-pressure area is holding on in about 100 kilometers east of Giwan because there are two high-pressure areas just north that is pushing and holding that low-pressure area. That's according to the weather.
The unstable weather does not deter everyone's determination in taking part, as some 90% of those who attended the training seminar show up.
On
the day of our training seminar, we announced the wrong date, so we had to quickly take some of our team members. Some had left their uniforms at home and had to come straight from work. I was glad to know that they felt obliged to attend the rehearsal today because they had taken part in the training. Whether it is the rain or having to take leave from work, residents overcome it all to fulfill their promise to attend the event. Among the participants, Vanessa and her siblings are taking part to reciprocate Tzu Chi's love.
We have decided to volunteer. When Tzu Chi Foundation actually called for volunteers for this event, we volunteered ourselves. This is in return to the help that Tzu Chi Foundation extended to us, like the Cash for Work program and the assistance, the financial assistance to us.
We want to help.
And I just want to help again.
In fact, Vanessa returned to her hometown before the typhoon struck, and as she will be heading back to Canada for work on the 20th, Vanessa wants to seize every opportunity to give.
The money from the Cash for Work program really helped us in buying our basic commodities, our basic needs like food, especially, because we don't have much relief by the time. So we bought the money for our daily needs like the foods, clothing, for candles at night.
Wanting to do the best job they can, residents listen intently to the instructions and take note of their assigned role.
I would take note this number so that I would guide the other people who would partake this event on the 19th of Sunday.
The year-end blessing ceremony will not be possible without the help of everyone here.
We are limited in time because I have to go to Omak soon. So I told them I don't have time to double check and that they must check the signal for me, to which they happily agreed.
Despite the challenges ahead, volunteers and residents are united as one in ensuring the upcoming events go smoothly.
While final preparations for Tacloban's year-end blessing ceremony this weekend run like clockwork, Tzu Chi volunteer Huang Jiefang visited the chairman of Barangay 7, local residents and schools to personally deliver invitations for the event.
Each invitation is an extension of Tzu Chi's blessings. Therefore, it must be delivered in person.
January 18th, be sure to invite everyone to attend.
Tzu Chi volunteer Huang Jiefang pays the Barangay 7 chairman Vilma Kobila a visit to personally deliver some 6,000 invitations for Tzu Chi's year-end blessing ceremony.
Tzu Chi is holding a blessing ceremony this Saturday. It will begin at 6:30 p.m.
To help, Huang also visits residents door to door to extend the invitation to more people. Seeing the familiar blue and white uniform, the residents' reaction is,
Tzu Chi is the catalyst of change in Tacloban, so I will most definitely attend the blessing ceremony this Saturday. I want to attend and experience this event, and I want to give my thanks personally for the help we received from Tzu Chi.
No amount of words can express the deep gratitude in the hearts of Tacloban residents for the plentiful love they have received from around the world.
We hope to bring everyone's compassion together at the 10,000 people blessing ceremony, and together we can pray for a world free of calamities and disasters, and for peace and harmony to soon restore in Tacloban.
With Tzu Chi volunteers by their side through this tumultuous time to reciprocate the love they have received, disaster survivors are ready to put their love into action.
With the goal of helping around 3,000 Typhoon Haiyan victims in Leyte Province's Palo town, Tzu Chi volunteers arrived to distribute aid vouchers on January 15th. On that day, to the volunteers' surprise, local residents reciprocated by bringing PET bottles filled with spare change to donate.
Prior to the start, volunteers first extend their apologies to local residents.
Thank you for coming. We're sorry you had to wait in the rain.
Upon learning that Tzu Chi will be distributing consolation cash to typhoon survivors on January 20th, residents arrived early to pick up their aid vouchers.
We were informed through friends that Tzu Chi is helping us, typhoon victims of Yolanda. We will use this money to repair our houses.
The story of Tzu Chi's bamboo coin bank has already spread throughout Palo, and this mother-daughter pair brings their savings as a token of their gratitude.
We will always love you, and we will not forget you. I earned this for my piggy bank. Even if this is a small amount, I can give this, and it is heartily given for everyone.
Although young, Mario has big aspirations and hopes to canvas more love and compassion. Meanwhile, some residents also donated spare change on site. Volunteers even found a note of appreciation inside one bottle. Although many Filipinos are of the Catholic faith, its tenets of charitable giving are no different than those found in Buddhism. And much like what's inscribed on the banner hanging on the wall, love is now flourishing in hearts everywhere.
On January 16th, Tzu Chi volunteers were joined by the CEO of Philippine Airlines, Chen Yongzai, as they surveyed the progress of recovery in both Ormoc and Tacloban.
Philippine Airlines CEO Chen Yongzai, who is also a Tzu Chi honorary board member, arrives in Ormoc to get an update on Tzu Chi's relief efforts. Chen takes a close look at the first batch of completed prefab classrooms in Ormoc for Ipil Central Elementary School. The building materials immediately aroused great interest from the CEO. Upon entering, one immediately notices a skylight. This thoughtful and user-friendly design brings additional light and fresh air when opened.
This is great.
Although a man of few words, Chen's excitement can be seen on his face. From the warm and inviting settings indoors to the clean and tidy exterior, Chen notices each detail. Before departing, students and teachers of the school take a picture with Chen to capture this rare moment. Driving along the country road, the group finally reach an open field. This plot of land has been donated by the Ormoc City Mayor Tzu Chi.
When the mayor heard that we were in need of land, he told us about 2 plots of land that we could use if we liked. The one is about 7 hectares and the other is about 50.
So that the victims, the family victims of the Typhoon Yolanda can avail of that land. And also the donors can easily or immediately construct and donate the houses to the victims.
With the children's education and the livelihoods of residents in mind, the local government and Tzu Chi volunteers are doing their best to help. The next stop for Chen is Tacloban, where he will join the Tzu Chi volunteers there to map out a medium to long-term recovery plan for the city.
In the aftermath of Typhoon Haiyan, groups of local volunteers from Marikina, most of whom were victims of Typhoon Kansana themselves, also traveled to Tacloban to care for residents. One such volunteer was Renalan.
Pupunta po tayo sa bahay ni Mang Ray para silipin at kumustahin po kung anong nangyari sa bahay nila pagkatapos po ng bagyong Yolanda.
This home, built with some wood logs and a canvas, is where Renante and his children have been staying since their home was washed away.
Okay.
Kung kayo malungkot?
Nalulungkot ako.
May pag-asa?
Di ko ano itong nangyari. Masakit. Yun. Hindi ka maintindihan ng aking buhay ngayon. Medyo mahirap ang kalagayan ko. Babangon ako.
Nandito naman ang Tzu Chi.
The floods took away everything from this family, including Renante's mother, his wife, and 3 children. Fortunately, a son and daughter survived.
Sabi ko ng panganay ko, hawakan mo ang mga bata. Asawa ko.
I told my son to hold on to his sister, and I carried my wife. We held on to them with our life. But the wind and waves were just too strong. I just couldn't hold on anymore.
Although it's been 2 months, that traumatic encounter is still fresh in Renante's mind. His pain and sorrow brings tears to Renalan's eyes.
If I was in this situation, it would be hard for me to find the courage to face the future as well. The toil of a 9-month pregnancy only to be taken away by God in an instant. That is so very heartbreaking.
As a mother of 3, Renalan empathizes with Renante's pain, but encourages him to be brave for the sake of his children.
It must have been God's will to let you live. More importantly, you now have to take on the role of father and mother. Your children need you. You need to be their father and also mother, as they need your guidance and love.
Ondoy, naramdaman din po namin yung naramdaman niya.
Typhoon Ketsana devastated Marikina City in 2009. The aid and love that poured in the immediate aftermath deeply moved Renalyn and her husband. After joining Tzu Chi's Cash for Work program, the couple realized that they too have the ability to help those less fortunate.
We were also once Tzu Chi care recipients. Now it's our turn to take care of those who need our help. We pray for them to recover as soon as possible so that they can leave their pain and sorrows behind and start over.
Thus, even if it means leaving home at midnight and taking 2 flights from Manila to Tacloban, although physically tired, Renalyn's spirit remains bright.
You're tired? Tired?
No, not really.
Joining volunteers in the disaster area for the 3rd time, she will continue to deliver warmth and comfort to those in need.
Moving to Central America, at the Tzu Chi Volunteer Training Seminar in Honduras, over 700 local volunteers and Tzu Chi members endured high heat to learn more about Tzu Chi. Chen Qing Chao also became the 2nd certified Tzu Chi volunteer in Honduras.
Although it is more than 35 degrees Celsius in Honduras, over 700 local volunteers and Tzu Chi members are participating in the 2nd Tzu Chi training seminar in Moncovia's Monjaras. From the United States, Li Zixiang, who is in charge of the seminar, has witnessed much transformation in 1.5 years.
Standing here today, things are completely different now. I see about 120 training volunteers in their grey uniforms and another 50 people wearing the volunteer vest. We can use the money in the bamboo coin banks to build houses. I know this sounds really difficult. The donations comes from each and every one of you.
15 years later, I am in Honduras once again. I see Brother Zhang Hongcai, who has inspired so many locals to join us. The Honduras Tzu Chi family is finally taking shape. I saw a baby girl just 3 weeks old here at our training seminar. Perhaps one day she might become a commissioner.
At the end of the class, U.S. Tzu Chi Headquarters CEO Huang Hankui, representing Master Zheng Yan, awards the 2nd Tzu Chi Volunteer Certificate given out in Honduras to volunteer Chen Qingcao. Fellow volunteers welcome the newest member on the Tzu Chi path and remind him to keep the Buddha's compassion and the Master's teaching in his heart always.
I can really feel the weight of my responsibility now. I hope to make progress in my home area of San Pedro Sula, just like here in Monjaras.
The journey is long and the responsibility is heavy, but local volunteers have come to understand Tzu Chi's great love and will do their share.
We will invite more people to join us so that they may become more self-reliant. As long as we love one another, help one another, then our children will grow up surrounded by love. One day they will be able to extend this universal love to more people.
Earlier in January, Tzu Chi volunteers in Hainan Province, China, held a winter aid distribution in Haikou City's Longhua district. For 800 families at this year's event, many local residents, ranging from government officials to university students, also partook as volunteers. It's 5 in the morning and the sun has not risen, yet Hainan Tzu Chi volunteers are already busy moving aid supplies and decorating the venue. This year in Longhua District, Haikou City, 800 families are receiving Tzu Chi's winter aid.
Tzu Chi Foundation from Taiwan is providing winter aid for our district's low-income residents. On behalf of the Longhua District government, I want to express our sincerest gratitude to Taiwan's Tzu Chi Foundation.
Hainan Province is China's southernmost province. In the past few years, it has also been marketed as a tourist destination. However, in Haikou City, there are still numerous low-income families in need of assistance. Thus, Tzu Chi for the last 4 years has held winter aid distributions to help. This year, many government officials joined the ranks of the volunteers.
From organizing the events to recruiting volunteers, everything was done in an orderly fashion. Thus, we were inspired to help. We wanted to join the volunteers to give a little of our love.
During the distribution, volunteers hand over aid supplies respectfully as they warmly interact with recipients. Among the volunteers are Hainan University students and local employees who are enjoying this experience.
When I was helping carry rice for others, I felt as if I had unlimited strength, because seeing the smiles on people's faces or hearing a word of thanks made me feel like the effort I put in was all worth it.
I'm very happy to be able to have joined in the activity today. I really wanted to participate in today's work.
It is through their selfless giving that these volunteers ensure that recipients will have a warm and happy Lunar New Year. Continuing in China, to provide those forgotten by society in Fuzhou, Fujian province with love to pass the winter days, Tzu Chi volunteers held an aid distribution on January 11th, helping 3,000 families.
Fujian province's Fuzhou has in recent years been characterized by high-rise buildings and modern landscapes. Yet in this affluent society are still many people living on the brink of poverty and dependent on government subsidies to get by. Therefore, Tzu Chi volunteers organized a winter aid distribution to help some 3,000 impoverished families.
You volunteers care for those who have no one to depend on. We are not related by blood, yet you always think about us and help us. Even if I'm not here to pick up aid supplies, I still want to see you volunteers who so selflessly serve the poor and society.
Although the temperature outside is only 10 degrees Celsius, the enthusiasm of volunteers make it easy to forget the cold. Wang Ruihua, who was once a driven and ambitious businessman, rediscovered life's purpose after joining Tzu Chi 3 years ago.
What's meaningful in life is being able to help others. It's not about how much we know, how much money we earn, or what luxuries we can enjoy. There's no purpose to that. We eventually forget about it all.
Also finding a purpose in life through giving is Ong Xiang. 4 years ago, she suffered the biggest loss of her life, losing her son to leukemia. But through helping others in need, she now has a different outlook on life.
Once a flying kite is broken, you should let it go so it can fly further. There's no need to keep holding on.
At the conclusion of the distribution, volunteers pack additional aid supplies to pay seniors living in remote villages a visit. 93-year-old Grandma Huang lives in solitude in her family's ancestral home. The volunteers' visit brings warmth, like the bright sunshine on a cold winter's day.
Grandma Huang is very friendly. It's as if she's my own grandmother.
The aid and love of Tzu Chi volunteers have warmed the hearts of impoverished residents and solitary seniors who are no longer lonely, knowing that volunteers will be by their side.
At the end of the show, we turn our camera back to the Philippines to bring you images of the year-end blessing ceremony in Ormoc, Leyte province from January 17th. We will leave you with these images. Thank you for watching. See you next week.